Welcome to this episode of the Smart Leader Sell podcast. I'm Jess, Lorimer, sales expert and leadership coach, and I'm very, very excited to bring one of my favorite people, one of my faves to the podcast today, the lovely Jen Hall. Welcome, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much, Jess. I'm really excited to be here again. I'm privileged.
I know. I'm like, I feel like every quarter we're just going to have you on.
It's the Jen quarter.
Like, shoot, we missed you in Q1, but damn it, I've got it all planned out for Q2, Q3, every single quarter. So it's funny because I always say this to people. Coaching is one of those things that comes around again and again and again, and we go through cycles. And sometimes, like, we're fine about things. I do this with marketing. I'm like, sometimes my marketing is great and it goes really well, and then it doesn't. So I go and I find a coach, or I find a program or a mastermind or whatever that can help me with that again.
Yes, exactly.
Right? It's cyclical. And then I'll be fine again. And then it happens. And it's just a normal period of growth. So I'm actually really glad that you're back on the podcast because, hey, look, it's normal. Everybody goes through growth and we get different levels, different devils. So it's always good to come back.
Absolutely. And the thing is, obviously I'm a client of yours as well. So I obviously work with you in the background, which is absolutely amazing. But they're like a never ending questions, I swear. And you seem to have never ending answers. So I'm really excited. I'm really not in a kind of as in you always have the gold that people need. So I'm ready to reap that reward.
I'm trying. It's pressure. The pressure is now on. Just a little bit of a reminder for people about who you are and what you do. Obviously, I know you as the clarity queen. You are somebody who's worked with me extensively. I've seen you work with your own clients, help them get amazing results. And you really do focus on helping people understand what it is that their kind of unique proposition is for the market, understanding how to niche correctly and not just the boring, does your ideal client wear flip-flops or trainers? And you take them through this process that helps them get clear, because without clarity, we can't move forward to any of the other steps. We can't go for sexy sales, we can't go for marketing until we actually know what we're selling and who we're selling that to.
And totally, exactly. And it even comes down to you can't do much, if I'm completely honest with you. You can't do much without clarity, because even when it comes to people going on struggling to create content, for instance, even just to market themselves and put themselves out there, they have no idea what to write about because they're struggling to understand what people want. And really, that's what I try to help people do. I help to position people as the best option in the marketplace through discovering what their ideal client truly wants, so they can start to position themselves, so they can move from being this nice to have to being a must have. And that's where people tend to stand out the most. And that comes in with having that kind of unique edge against what it is, because you've seen it. We're everywhere. Coaches are absolutely everywhere. We're popping up like daisies. There are new people starting a business every single day. And even if you are the first person to be unique and be perhaps in your corner of the world, there will be someone else that does the same thing. They will catch on, and then before you know it, there's more of you. There will always be saturation. And so it's become more and more important to find that unique edge, to find out who it is you're serving, what it is they want, and why your solution is the best solution for them. And really, that's what I'm here to achieve for people, because I'm so sad to see so many people out there who have such amazing expertise and just go completely unnoticed. And it's such a shame, because it's doing the world a disservice. It's making them feel unconfident, like they're not worthy or wanted of being able to sell. And it's a shame.
Yeah. And this is the thing. In fact, I was on a discovery call last week, and I was talking to this woman who had amazing idea. She had amazing skill, amazing talent. And I was like, do you know what your biggest problem is? You don't have a business model. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't know what you want to do with your business. I was like, your problem is not a sales problem. I'm like, your problem is that you're trying to do all the things, but because you don't actually know what you want, where you want to go with it, what you really want to do, what you actually want to focus on selling, I'm like, it's not going to work. And it doesn't matter what you do up until the point that you make the decision. And, clarity really is key. It's about understanding what decisions you're making, what business decisions you're making, and why. And knowing that, when you do make those decisions, you're fully confident in them. And then that's when you go off and you go, right, okay, now that I'm clear, Now I can invest time, money, energy in learning about what marketing methods I want to use, or in terms of sales, or in terms of funnels, or wherever else that is. But it doesn't start until you actually know what you're about.
Exactly. I'm so glad you just said that. It's about, decisions. It's about business decisions. And really that's what it's about. I see so many people out there dithering, dabbling in one thing, changing to the other, swapping feet. And the thing is, when you do that, you don't build any trust. You don't know where you're going. There is no GPS signal sending you in a particular direction. You're going scattered. You're scattering everywhere. And it just doesn't work. You've got to decide, put a stake in the ground and ride the wave. Because if you're not willing to do that and at least head somewhere, then you're going to go nowhere. So I'm so glad you said about decisions. It's such an important part.
But I think decision making is everything when it comes to business. If you're not a good decision maker, you're going to find it very, very difficult to operate your business and grow it. Because ultimately, running a business is about making difficult decisions pretty much every day. Mm-hmm. You have to make difficult decisions around who you hire. You have to make decisions around who you sell to, how you sell to them, what kind of measures you put in place for everything in your business, from legal, accounting, right through to marketing and all the fun stuff that we like doing. Mm-hmm. So, decisions are key if you want growth, and that all does stem from clarity. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to be? And that kind of leads us into your question today, which is about decisions. So let's hear it.
Well, yeah, I tend to be, now, by the way, before I worked with Jess, I was never, ever like this. So this is something that she's done to me in the positive way, but it's now brought a new problem to light. So I actually normally do things by the book in terms of launching in a particular sequence and doing things in a particular way in order to sell my programs and my product. Yeah. However, in this occasion, I've done things not necessarily in an incorrect order, but in a different way to how I normally do it. So I'm planning on running a webinar tomorrow, in fact. So this is very timely. Cool. And I normally do those at the beginning to then launch it. Yeah. And so I tend to put in things, as the lovely Jess has taught me to do in the past, and put urgency into my selling to make sure that people get a rocket up their bum and get on, to buying the things. However, my bonuses that I've stuck in have expired, and so has my early bird. So it's actually being sold at the higher end than it was. And I already have people booked onto this program who've already bought at the lower price. So I want to be able to add urgency into selling without being out of integrity to the people who have already bought. Mm-hmm. But everything's expired. Tell me. I'm like, tell me, Jess, what's your advice on this at this point?
Shit, all my bonuses are gone. I feel like that's what we should call this episode. Scott, when you're editing this, definitely think about that as a title. So iTunes would not love it. We would not love it, but I would. So I think this is a really good example of why I always teach, and I've taught you this, so you already know this, but why we shouldn't sell and be reliant on bonuses. Bonuses should not be there to sell your product. Bonuses should be there as a congruent extra that help people understand, oh, great, I'm going to buy this, and there's going to be something else there that will help me learn more, or that will maximize my productivity, or that will just enhance my experience. Because, I think we go through a stage in the online world, and we see it all the time, where people are like, oh, I'm going to give you $10,000 worth of bonuses, and the course itself is only worth $297. And I'm just like, well, then what's wrong with the course? Because if you have to rely on $10,000 worth of crap to sell it, it's probably not all that it's meant to be. The thing is, people don't actually buy from bonuses or from price anyway. Mm-hmm. And we know that too, right? Money is very rarely the real objection. So 98% of the time, the money isn't the issue. And in all honesty, if you ask anyone, we'll ask you, how many times have you bought a course or a program because it came with a really great bonus?
No, exactly. It was just like, oh, that's a nice to have. I want the program, and so I'll buy it now because it would be cool to get the bonus.
Yeah, but you've been through the entire sales process with your audience. Mm-hmm. So the great thing about this is that you're asking about urgency. Well, the urgency is already there. This is it. Yes. Buy it or don't. Like, if you don't buy it now, it's gone. And that then becomes your decision. Your decision now is not, about, oh, do I buy it because I might get this cool bonus thrown in or whatever. It's, do I actually want to make the change and see the transformation? If I do, crap, yeah, I missed out on the bonuses and I missed out on the early bird, but I still want it. And actually that's now solidified for me because I still want it at the higher price. Or do I not?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? You
absolutely makes sense. Yeah.
And that's all it is.
Well, now I feel stupid. You made me wait for that answer.
Like, wow, that was about 3 minutes. So
I feel like you're my fairy godmother. Like the answer was there all along.
It was.
You just had to click your heels 3 times.
Dorothy. But it's that kind of thing. So I would focus heavily on the messaging and on making them or encouraging them to make the decision, like holding the space really for them to make an empowered decision. And just be like, look, I would completely detach from the outcome. You've already sold it at this point. So you already know that people want it. That's not in question. You already know that it's something that people value. That's not in question. There's nothing in question from your side because everything's already been proven. It works. It's already sold. People like it. People want it. All that kind of stuff. The thing that they now have to decide is, do they want the transformation enough? And that's the question you have to put to them is, do you really want it enough? So when, if you do your webinar tomorrow, my thing would be make it challenging for them rather than being all, okay, well, here you go. Here's step 1, here's step 2, here's whatever. Here's all the things, consume information. I would challenge them and be like, look, what are you doing about this? How are you feeling about that? Because that's the only way sometimes that our audience will actually see is if we pose the question, how does this feel? So when we did a challenge, like when we did the challenge in my group recently, one of the questions that I asked on day 1 was, how do you feel about your current revenue? And the amount of people that went, no, I'm not happy with the amount of money that I'm making. And I want to be making more, or I want to make more and work less, or whatever the answers were. Everyone was unhappy, not ungrateful. Everyone was very, very grateful for what they were earning, but they weren't happy with the level they were at. So when we came back to actually selling the program, because this is something I launched with Heather, a joint program, we asked the question, how many of you are still unhappy with your revenue? And if you are still unhappy with your revenue, why are you not jumping into this, which could help you?
Yeah, it becomes an obvious decision then, doesn't it? And if it isn't, and if they are happy, then it's not the right decision for them, and that's totally cool.
Yeah.
Now, I really like your way of thinking, because I think as well, a lot of the time people don't stop to think about what's going on for them, or they and I hate to use the term, but they kind of think they can get away with just running along on empty. They can just carry on the way they are and think something will stick eventually. And it's only through asking those questions that it really comes to light. I absolutely love that. Thank you so much.
And that's the thing, your webinar will still be educational. I think this is the other thing, because I know that with you want to give tons and tons of value, and it will be an excellent webinar, but it sometimes can be just as educational for people to be able to get, to answer their own questions and to be challenged rather than people being fed more information.
Yep. It's true. And you can't always answer, you can't answer things for them. That's the thing about clarity and being unique, is that it has to come from you. You cannot feed somebody uniqueness. There's no way you can possibly do it. You've got to ask those questions. So yeah, fantastic.
Just doesn't work. Well, there you go. Is there anything else I can help with?
Well, there always is, Jess. We could be here for some time. Maybe for the next Gen quarter.
So for Q3. So if people want to be able to find you, which I've no doubt they will, we have a lot of people who have questions around getting clear, around helping to understand what their offers should be, knowing who their ideal clients are. Where is the best place for them to find you?
Oh, great question. So the best place to find me is in my Facebook group, which is called Unrivaled Experts. And I know you're going to pop a link somewhere.
It'll be in the show notes.
Yeah, where you can go and find me on there, or just type in Unrivaled Experts and come and find me. But yeah, I'll be looking forward to meeting anyone who wants to come in there and helping them really understand what their unique edge and clarity on their micro niche is.
Perfect. There you go. So there you go. If you've enjoyed the shortest episode I think we've ever had in the Smart Leader Sell podcast, I feel like this is a win, Jen. Well done.
I'm always quite direct and down the line.
Exactly. I'm like, this is epic coaching at its finest. Then please make sure you leave us a review. Let us know how you are getting on. And also, if you have any questions for yourself that you want to bring to the podcast, make sure you drop us an email, jessica@jessicalorimer.com, and we'll get you on and you can be coached live for as long or as short a time as you would like. I'll see you in the next episode.